Great to have you in. By the way, Casper.com, code HERD, $100 toward the purchase of select mattresses. Casper.com, most loved and trusted sleep company. Had a great night's sleep last night. So there's a couple NBA stories. Paul George is going to come back to the Clippers here on a road trip. That's nice. And Lakers won last night. It's November. I don't care. Kyle Kuzma pretty good. Here's the story I care about. Nick Wright in 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing. I've said this about LeBron James forever. I've been watching the NBA for 40 years. I was watching it when there was Spencer Haywood, Calvin Murphy. I've been watching the NBA since I was like 8 years old. LeBron is the Swiss Army knife. There's never been a player. In fact, there's nobody ever been close to LeBron. He is great at more things than any player ever. Michael was a better pure scorer. Kobe was more artistic. Kareem had the unstoppable shot. Bill Russell, the better defender. LeBron's the greatest player at multiple things. And 538's a website. And they were talking about this morning, his move to point guard. First of all, he was a power player for years. Then he decided I got to shoot threes. In the last 3 years, he is a top 5 3-point shooter, which again, for a 6'9" forward is remarkable. And then this year, he's like, I'm going to play point. Well, statistically, he's now the NBA's best point guard. So, I mean, it backs up what I believe is he's either the first or second best player in my life. The 3 best players to me, and I don't count centers, Jordan, Magic, LeBron. Centers, a little bit just, I mean, come on. You're 7'2", you should score a lot. Nothing against big guys. But it's Magic, who's always been better than we think. Michael, the greatest scorer, most relentless player. Mind control, Michael. And then LeBron's great at everything. So everybody's trying to sell me parity this year in the NBA. And there are a lot of teams I like. I think Utah's really good. I think Denver's good. Milwaukee's good. The Sixers are good. Portland's interesting, not good yet. But to me, I don't buy it because the NBA has never been about parity. It's about the best players joining forces. And the best team in the NBA to me is the Clippers. And the second best team is LeBron. And the question this year is the question every year except last year, which is who's guarding LeBron in May? Because that's been the NBA for 8 straight years. A healthy LeBron has made the finals 8 straight years. So the question is, who's stopping LeBron? And for 4 years, about 4.5, we had an answer. Golden State, because they had a bunch of great shooters hitting threes, and they threw a bunch of guys at him. Draymond a little, and Iggy a little, and Clay, and they threw it. Okay, so now that's imploded. So the question is, who's stopping LeBron? Because now he's the best point guard in the NBA. Who's stopping LeBron? And I believe the answer is the Clippers. Because they have guys who can hit threes, Paul George, Lou Williams, and they also have a bunch of guys. In fact, I could make an argument they have the 3 best guys in the league to stop LeBron. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and frankly, Patrick Beverley, who loves guarding him and is a pain in the rump. And we talk about all this stuff about the NBA, and this story, 538, comes out. LeBron, once again, I mean, as much as you love Michael Jordan, he was never the best point guard in the league. He was never a great rebounder or a great passer. But I come down to you're selling me parity, and I'm like, if LeBron's healthy, late April, May, June, who's stopping him? One team. Not Utah, not Denver, not Milwaukee, not Boston, not the Sixers, not Portland, not Houston, the Clippers. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So the Cowboys had a tough time stopping the run against the Vikings on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Minnesota rushed for 153 yards and a touchdown. And when asked how he would describe his team's poor run defense, Jerry Jones gave a very interesting analogy.
2 handfuls full of Jell-O. And about the time that you stop it from coming out the middle finger by the forefinger, about the time you start it over there, then it starts coming out the other side. Right. And that's what makes this game so great. That's what makes the challenge so great. And you think you've got it figured out, and 2 games later, the defense you face will have had it figured out for you.
He's right. It's a weird analogy, but he is right. The game changes really fast.
Who's ever tried to hold 2 handfuls of Jell-O?
Not me ever, but he's getting older, and as he's getting older, maybe he's eating more Jell-O. Those
I
foods
love
go down.
Jell-O, but I don't eat it with my hands. But he is so he is so intricate in his description and his analogy.
As if he's been eating Jell-O for years with 2 hands.
He just paints a picture with the words. You remember that analogy he did about the severing your hands? Like, picture you were driving a car and you wrecked and your hand was almost severed off.
Yeah.
Which didn't understand your anatomy, and then he went through that whole thing. And then in 2017, he said, we're going to have to burn some wagons and float the Mississippi with some of the others. When he's talking about player injuries and suspensions.
Maybe these are Texas metaphors we don't get.
I don't know, but they're very descriptive. And he's right. That's was what it looked like what they were trying to
stop Dalvin Cook.
Yes, against the Vikings. When I think of the issues with the Cowboys, though, my initial thought does not go to their defense. It's just like the Vikings played a better game at the end of the day than the Cowboys did, and I don't think it was a bad loss for the Cowboys.
I think you and I agree on this. What's their offensive identity? I think they have the pieces. I don't think their coaching staff knows what their offensive identity is.
Well, to me, their offensive identity is Dak.
Well, that's what I think, but they're
not a team that's built for Dak to be that.
Okay, when I said that, I said if you put Nick Chubb behind Dak, this team is not less. But if you put Baker in instead of Dak with Zeke, the team's a mess. Dak's the identity, and secondly is the offensive line. If Tyron Smith is healthy, Travis Frederick healthy, they move the football. I never thought it was Zeke. I've never thought it was Zeke.
Taking away from how great Zeke is.
That's right.
Zeke is a top 1 or 2 running back in the league.
By the way, Cleveland's identity is Nick Chubb because Baker's limited.
Right.
Dak's not as limited. He's a bigger, better athlete, more of a leader. He's a more mobile. So on that team, Nick Chubb is the identity and should be.
I'm growing exhausted with trying to pitch Dak Prescott. I feel like you and I are Dak's agents.
Well, listen, all the speculation was fine. After Sunday, people need to acknowledge that Dak, you and I had some questions about Tua. And you and I were like, he throws to one side of the field. He gets hurt a lot. Right. And then I watched him against LSU, and I'm like, okay, he's 2 weeks off the surgery table, and that's the best I've ever seen him.
Yeah, you really can't poke holes in it.
Yeah, Tua now. And now I got prototypes in the league that look like Tua, and I'm like, okay, Tua's the number 1 pick. Like,
I personally am still leaning towards Joe Burrow, but I don't have the anxiety that I did about Tua after the game.
That's exactly how I feel.
You want to see how you play at the highest level with the highest level of competition.
Tua was better Saturday than I've ever seen him against a real team, a real defensive coordinator, and I was like, okay, he's number 1. Okay, all my doubts are gone. By the way, it's funny how at 19 years old, people get better at stuff. It's remarkable how it works.
Yeah, you develop. It's
and improve and
hopefully.
Stuff.
So Josh Gordon made his debut with the Seahawks on Monday night. Yeah. Seattle is the 3rd team he's played for in his career after the Browns and the Patriots. And when he was asked about his transition from the quarterback carousel in Cleveland to Tom Brady and now Russell Wilson this season, he said, seems like in this part of my career, I'm trending upwards in quarterback.
Woo! Shot at TB. Well, Russell is better than Tom right now. Yeah.
Right. So
I don't think that was mean-spirited. I just think he was talking.
No, I don't think he meant for it to sound like a jab at Tom. It just sounds like a jab at Tom Brady.
For the record, let's make sure everybody knows this. Josh Gordon had 2 huge catches. And by the way, when the Patriots let Josh Gordon go, my sources tell me that didn't play well in the New England locker room.
I don't know how it would, unless there was something really going on there, which it didn't seem like it was. It was kind of a shocking move. You have an offense that could really use some dynamic players. It's a huge get for Seattle.
When AB got pushed out of New England, that didn't sit well with players. Like, New England knows Gronk left, they have no deep threat. So the Josh Gordon thing, he's had a relapse issue. I'm not discounting that, but he was a factor on Monday night, a big factor.
Right. And I don't think he's necessarily taking a shot at Tom Brady.
No.
But I'm also not ready to say that Russell Wilson is, he's having a better season than Tom Brady, I suppose.
Yeah.
He's better than Tom Brady.
Yes, today. Yes, absolutely. Yes, he's better than Tom Brady. Yes, of course he is. I like Tom.
I like Tom.
I mean, Tom Brady's an excellent young man.
Oh, my gosh.
But now he's not young.
All right. Speaking of the Patriots and their loss to the Ravens, they were down by 17 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
New England was never able to dig themselves out of that early hole. And Julian Edelman says that being better to start the game this week was the main focus in preparing for the Eagles. He said, with a team like Baltimore, you can't get behind because they're so dynamic at keeping the ball away from you. So starting fast, getting back on that program, being able to come out and start fast and get a rhythm established. A lot of this week was more about self-scout, and we're just kind of working on us on all the things that we have to do better. Kind of how we feel about the Cowboys, that they need to start a little faster. This is why the Josh Gordon move was interesting to me, because if this is the case, like you want to score every time you're getting the ball.
Yeah, like, we're paying a lot of attention to Lamar gave the Patriots trouble, right?
Right.
Why aren't we paying attention to the other thing that Baltimore's good, not great defense gave the Patriots trouble? Like, this is not just a Lamar's a pain in the butt. New England's stats, I went and looked at them this morning. They're 16th in the league in everything against bad teams except Baltimore. This is not like an outlier. New England's offense is a pop gun offense. There's no deep threat. There's no tight end. Third left tackle, third kicker. And I'm a New England guy.
And yet still, I fear them the most.
Wow. That's that Miami-Pittsburgh thing.
I mean, I've just been conditioned. Like, it's just, I'm like Michael Rappaport yesterday. I've given up. There's just some things, sometimes you just got to give up. I've given up.
Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.